Okay, this is warm up 3. This has been put together so you guys can follow along in real time. We're going to start off with arm circles going forwards and back. So standing up nice and tall, arms out wide, little circles forwards with the arms just to start with. And we're gradually working into a bigger circles. We've got 20 seconds of these. So just pace yourself nice and slowly and gradually make those arms bigger and bigger with each turn. By the 20-second mark, we want to be moving right into a big circle. Got about 5 seconds to go. Just nice and gently, right into big arm circles, and just resetting here again for 20 seconds, but back circles this time. So rotating in the opposite direction, little circles, gradually making them bigger and bigger with each turn. And just one thing to think about while you guys are doing this is to really try and drop your shoulder blades down towards your back pocket. So we don't want to start shrugging up as you go into these arm circles. We really want to do the opposite, which is pulling those shoulder blades back and down. Something you can try if you want to is place those palms up towards the sky. Sometimes that can help set those shoulders back and down. Feel free to mix and match as you go. Right into a big arm circle. Lovely. And from here, we're going to a lunge and a knee pull. So for our lunge, feet are shoulder width apart, imagining they're on train tracks. We're going to step back into that lunge position, making sure we're balanced, and lower down. Back knees just off the ground. From here, we're going to step forward. Same leg is going to drive up towards our chest, and the goal here is to stay as tall as possible on that grounded leg. So working those little stabilizing muscles through the hip, knee, and ankle of the grounded leg. Then resetting on the other side. So the other leg's going to go back this time. Nice long lunge back, nice and balanced, dropping down, and then standing tall to a knee pull. Stay nice and tall on the ground leg. It does help if you squeeze your glute here. And just resetting. The leg that was on the ground, that one's going to go back. That's a good way to remember which leg's next. So driving that knee up to your chest, nice and tall on the grounded leg. And the goal here is to hold for 2 to 3 seconds if we can in each of those positions. So the leg that was on the ground goes back, again holding for 2 to 3 seconds. I'm standing tall, nice and tall on that grounded leg, pulling that knee into the chest. If you find that you're a little bit off balance, that's okay, that's fairly normal. You should find that you're a little bit more stable as the set goes on. So feet shoulder width apart, stepping back, slowly lowering. And we've got 5 each side here, or 10 in total. Nice. We're also aiming on this grounded leg. As you pull the knee into the chest, you might notice a slight stretch through the bottom of the hip. That's something we're looking for as well. So as well as working those stabilizing muscles through the grounded leg, the leg that you're pulling into your chest, we're also looking for a slight stretch through those hips. Nice. Just going to do one more on each side. Again, nice and stable in that bottom position. You can push those hips forward, just as we did on warm-up day 1. That'll bring a bit of a stretch through the front of the back leg. Nice, guys. And final rep here. So slowly lowering down, making sure that you're stable. Stepping through and driving that knee up to your chest. Keeping that glute nice and squeezed. We don't want the hip dropping out, so really press up nice and tall. Lovely. From here, we're going to head down to the ground. So this is going to start in a tall plank position. We're going to take one leg, kick it forwards and bring it across our body. So from front on, it'll look like this. Now, for those of you who have fairly limited tightness in your hip, you may feel this in your knee slightly. I'll give you a variation for that in a moment. Just for now, try bring your ankle closer towards your hip or closer towards your feet. For those of you that are a bit more bendy, the goal is to eventually try and keep your shin square with your body, so perpendicular to your body there. I don't have a huge amount of hip mobility, so I'm somewhere in between. So from here, we're just holding this stretch. You should find a nice stretch in your glute. You can drop down to your forearms or even extend out for a slight variation of this stretch. Once you've got a nice stretch, holding for 5 seconds, then alternating to the other side. So just in your own time here, we're hitting that nice pigeon stretch. I'm actually a little bit tighter in this hip. If you are finding that you're tighter in one side compared to the other, that's perfectly normal. Feel free to spend a little bit longer on that tighter side. It's up to you. We've got 60 seconds here. Just alternating sides, nice and gently. So it's an opportunity for you guys now just to explore any of those tight areas through your hips. If you find that you're a bit tighter on one side, spend a bit longer there. Should be nice and relaxing. Nice, just nice and gently. With any of these stretches, we don't want them to be painful. We obviously want to go to the point of stretch, but not to the point of pain. Nice, guys. We've got about 20 seconds to go, so nice and gently. Just alternating sides there. As you go, you might be able to find that that front leg will go a little bit more across your body, or a little bit more perpendicular as you find a little bit more range. You don't necessarily have to try and tweak it as you go. You can try and get a little bit close to the floor, which is going to increase that stretch naturally. So it's nice and gently. As you can see for this one, leg position does make a difference. How high the ankle is up relative to your body. And the other thing is keeping your hips nice and square. A common fault for this one is that people's hips will go to the side and they'll try and bring their chest down here. You still will get a stretch through your glute, which I'm not too concerned about. Better technique though is to try and keep those hips. You can feel the little knobbly points at the front of your hips. Keep them forward and nice and square. Cool, rather than turning them out to the side. Lovely, so that's 60 seconds there. That's something to keep in mind next time we go into pigeon. There's a few pigeon stretches in the program. After this, we're going to a calf pump. This is something we've done quite a few times throughout the program. Starting from a tall plank, hips up nice and high. We're dropping the heel towards the ground with a straight knee. Dropping the heels towards the ground with a straight knee, and we're looking for a stretch through the calf. It may extend a little bit higher up, so it's at the back of the knee as well. And we're just going to gently alternate legs, holding for 2 to 3 seconds. And this one's for 20 reps. 20 reps in total, or 10 each side. Once you get to the 10 rep mark, you can start walking those calves out a little bit faster. So as soon as that heel touches the ground, you're going to pick it up gently and move on to the other side. Just gently stepping out till you get to 20. Once you've finished, just jumping up onto your feet, give your arms lengths a little shake out. And next piece, we've got 3 rounds of 3 different movements. First one is down on the ground, palms under shoulders, knees underneath hips. This is a slow bird dog. So a bird dog, we're lifting up opposite arm and opposite leg. So I'm going to lift up my left arm and my right leg. The goal here is to keep the hips and shoulders nice and level. I'll quickly explain the purpose of this movement because it's something that gets done incorrectly quite frequently. The goal of this movement is to pattern hip extension, which we do all the time when we walk, run, jog, stand up. We really do it all the time throughout the day. It's to pattern really good hip extension with a nice neutral core. Quite often people lose connection with their core. Their core's totally switched off. They don't have a very good relationship between their core muscles and their hip muscles. So it's to pattern that, as well as pattern, going overhead as well. So another fault, people often, when going overhead or when reaching up, they'll put a big arch through their lower back, particularly if you're tighter through the shoulders and thoracic spine. This is a really good way to pattern that movement, as well as start switching the core muscles on. So palms under shoulders, knees under hips, lifting opposites. We're pausing for a moment. So this is really important. We're extending out. Back toe stays really close to the ground. A lot of people extend right up, and you'll notice straight away it puts a big arch through my lower back. We want to keep that back toe close to the ground and the hips and shoulders nice and level. Palms facing towards the sky. Back in, pausing for a moment, and then dropping down to the ground. This will take quite a while if you do it at the correct tempo. So lift and pause, extend and pause, back toes close to the ground, palms up to face the sky. I'm squeezing my glutes here and keeping my core nice and tight. Back in and pause, and dropping back down. So just in your own time, lift and brief pause. It gives you an opportunity to correct if you're unstable. Extend, pause, again, an opportunity to correct. Once you're nice and stable, you'll come back in. As you find your stability improving throughout the set, you can pick up the tempo slightly, but make sure you do include a slight pause when you lift opposites at the full extension position and just before you place your hand and knee back on the floor. So that's the bird dog. After that, you're doing ground sweep. So this is a hamstring stretch. We're going to split the stance, big chest, and we're going to send our hips back here. Notice that one leg is lifted, so I've placed my heel just in front of my back leg. I'm hinging at the hips, sending my hips back, and I'm going to just do a nice little ground sweep here. This is done as a mobility piece, just to increase a bit of flexibility and range through the hamstring. So big reach through, I feel a big tension down the back of my leg or the back of my upper thigh and my hamstring here. If you're getting it exclusively behind the knee and nowhere else, try putting a slight bend in your knee. That's going to move the stretch up a little bit higher into your hamstring. Both variations are really good. They're stretching different tissue. But just go as you feel. Free to mix and match that as you go throughout the warm-up. Cool, and then our final movement is a squat and press. So done without exercise. Done without weight. It's a squat, soft knees, hips back. We're sitting down as if we're sitting on a chair, going as far down as our mobility allows before our hips want to tuck under. If you're quite tight through the hips, you might find that you hit a point where your back wants to round or your heels want to come off the ground. Go just before that hip movement or your heels want to come off. So soft knees, hips back, then sitting down. If you're really mobile, you'll be able to get all the way to that bottom position. From here, just without weight, we're just going into a zombie position or with the arms out in front. Cool, so hips back, soft knees, press the arms out into your bottom position. This will keep you a little bit more upright. If you have a little bit of weight, you can place it on your chest. This could be in the form of a backpack, water bottle, jugs of milk. Find something, small child. Soft knees, hips back, press the arms out in front. This will keep you a little bit more upright, again, acting as a counterbalance. And you should find that you'll get a little bit more range throughout your squat. So this is really good for developing your range of movement and switching all the muscles through your upper back that actually keep you upright. Cool, so that's for 10 reps. You're gonna follow through that for 3 rounds. So 20 slow bird dogs. Again, this takes quite a while if you do it at the correct tempo. 10 ground sweeps. And then 10 squat and press. And again, that can be loaded. Just weight in the chest, extend the arms as you go down, pull back in that top position. 3 rounds of that. Once you're done, you should be nice, warm, mobile, and activated for your session. Enjoy.